An opportunity for a record.
There you go. Let's move. All right. Is there any comment from the public? President, any director comments? Do we have any requests for adjustments?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Just a quick note. Looks like we might be missing a couple F's on my last name throughout.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll take a motion with those changes.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item number 12, receive the regular monthly SJR Woodlands Division report, including any update.
Update last month, no violations, no, nothing out of the ordinary. Been through the storm just fine. No service interruptions, no employee injuries, and very, very minor damage from maybe $50,000 worth
Oh,
of the buildings and, so,
great. Good to hear. Consider and act on the draft 2025 SJR Woodlands Division budget.
Just a couple one-off questions with basically personnel stuff. So salary and wages, 6.6%. How much was that merit versus promotions? Do we know?
So it's a total labor pool of 6% for merit, market adjustments, and promotions.
Okay.
So we don't do a cost of living. Merit is based off of performance, equalization based off of market, promotion based off of centers, positions.
Gotcha.
Then,
The other 60 basis points was just FTE adjustments.
FTE adjustments, the technical services group increased by 1.4 FTEs. On the allocation should be higher than the regular direct.
Okay. On the insurance costs, so that was obviously 41% is pretty significant. Were there changes to the actual coverage compared to just the insurance costs?
Yeah, so we did have a lot of people that were not on our insurance that got onto our insurance. Also, any vacancy we have, we do not budget at the lowest tier. We budget as employee plus family, which is the highest tier, because we don't know what they're going to be at. So we expect it to come in lower, but we budget.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do I have a motion to approve the budget?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the SGRA Woodlands Division budget.
All those in favor?
All right.
Anything from our attorney?
Nothing today, and then the closed session is going to be deferred until next month.
Do we have a general manager's report?
Sure. I'll be brief.
Thank you.
Wanted to give you an update on how we fared through the storm. We did lose power Monday morning, and so we were working from home, basically communicating, taking phone calls still from customers. We were able to do that remotely through our phone system. We can do that. So our ladies were receiving calls, sending out work orders. Most of the work orders that we were receiving were things like tree falls on a house, water line leak inside, need the water turned off, stop the leaking, or or a tree fell and the roots broke the line in the yard type of thing, turn the water off requests. We did see kind of some misinformation about boil water notice. That was never the case. We did send out a public notification on Wednesday morning that it was safe, that it was uninterrupted, and everything was fine as far as that goes. So that was sent out through email, and then also public our social media stuff. So that went pretty well. All in all, I think we fared very well. Pretty lucky. Probably worse than folks thought, but made it through pretty well.
What kind of redundancy is there in personnel? Like I personally lost cell phone signal for a full day. Do you get what happens with it?
That's-
That happens.
That's been brought up at a couple of the MUDS meetings about, do you have sat phones or different options? Just from my experience, what we experienced was we were at our house, and let's say we did or didn't have power there. When I had power, but then but for some reason the Wi-Fi, stopped, right? Because the source was, I guess, out, right? And so I switched my phone to stop looking for Wi-Fi and start looking for cell, and I was able to still get cell and send text messages out. And so we kind of created a text group amongst the managers here to be able to communicate. Meanwhile, our customer service team was still able to receive calls through the app on our phone, on our cell phone. So, and I wasn't able to really do emailing through the computer on my laptop, but I was more able to do it on my phone or send text. So not not everybody was getting every text at the, at the same time. And so that was still a little bit, I wanted to put as many people that were, moving and shaking things on the text group so that we could at least ping, employees and others, with whether it was call, text, whatever, to just make sure we were trying to communicate best we could. So it wasn't perfect, but we got it done, and we may look at other backups in the future, but we'll be assessing kind of how we did, what went well, what didn't go well, if any, and how can we improve it, and we'll be looking at that.
Hopefully you're not tested again soon.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Next month will be a little bit longer meetings. We'll be doing budget and tax recommendations next month. So I look forward to that. And then wanted to report that Mike Mooney is going to be retiring. And so this will likely be his last round of meetings this month. Be retiring in August. So wanted to really say thank you to him and all. He had his 20-year anniversary a couple weeks ago. So he's been here 20 years, and it's going to be tough to fill the spot, but we've got some feelers out and interviewing some folks right now. So more to come on that, but just wanted to thank Mike for all the years of service.
You'll be missed.
Congratulations.
And with that,
Oh, you got spit right through.
right there.
Talk fast.
Really long.
Moving on.
Did everyone get a supplemental communication? I'm just going to touch on a couple things within that. Hopefully you saw those water quality reports go out. They came to you in the mail, as they do every customer. We go those out through our other outlets. That's a really important communication piece. And I put some data in there for you on the impact on trust level and water quality when folks hear from us. It's significant. And then you can see on the right there, data from our last two community surveys showing that we enjoy a higher trust level, about roughly 8 points higher than the national average in our water quality. So we're going to keep moving on that front. And then just the only thing I wanted to touch on was, if you didn't see it, please take a look at the Woodlands Community Magazine piece. That's on page 2. It comes to your door. It's also online if you see the hard copy online on the township website. We should recommend it. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you. Trustees report is in our package.
Yes, it's in your package. Highlight was essentially the trustees approved a proposal by SDRA to have a third party come in and do an analysis that includes basically taking the MBR option, which you've seen most recently, that on new land, conventional technology on new land, replace in place, and then a fourth option, which wasn't originally promoted, but kind of evolved as the meetings went along last month, which was replace in place. So to kind of just, fix stuff as we go type of option. So the board approved that 10-0, and then also talked a little bit about developing a decision matrix, criteria matrix that would be included hopefully by November, so that the MUDs could have kind of a framework for how a decision would be made in the future. Some express concerns that we get all this work done and then we still can't agree on whatever the path is. So that was kind of to assist. And so once we have that, we'll review it, get it before the trustees and the MUDs, all the directors, and hopefully finalize that prior to the evaluation being done. Evaluation is expected to be done in 8 months. At a budget of about not to exceed about 500,000, which coincides with a line item in the budget already that was going to be repurposed from what's called an owner's advisor on the SDRA budget. So I believe SDRA will get that approved with their board or present it for August approval, and then theoretically the analysis will start September and take 8 months, and then we would have a few months to review and digest it next year.
Thank you.
Yeah, just I did watch the trustee video and some questions and concerns that came out of it. So obviously this board supported the authorization of the study to consider those 4 options. And we agreed it was important to be able to resolve some of the remaining questions and help identify the appropriate path forward. It was concerning to see that we would authorize that study with an NTE of $500,000 only for the very next agenda item, for it to be suggested that the engineer's objectivity was in question. So again, I mean, hopefully the dialogue now at the MUD level and with the trustees is enough to satisfy folks and help us align on what that decision criteria is, but also help folks feel more comfortable to commit to accepting that recommendation when all is said and done. But it's certainly financially responsible for us to continue to fund studies that we don't have the intention of accepting the recommendation, or to continue to delay a decision, especially in an environment with rapidly rising costs. So I guess a couple questions for you, Brian. As far as the process goes, when the study is complete and the recommendation comes back, the trustees will essentially vote on a non-binding recommendation to the MUDs. And then you mentioned that we would then seek unanimity at the MUD level, but is that required?
So it would be necessary in order for the River Authority to be able to issue bonds for the project, because otherwise, as I think we've talked about the trustee meeting or some of these MUD meetings, the pot of money that's necessary has to come from somewhere. So either right now the agreements are structured to where projects have been funded on a cash basis, essentially through wholesale rates imposed by the River Authority. And so the purpose of the amendment would be, so the supplement would be similar to the supplement back in 2017 that would allow for the River Authority to issue bonds to fund these large items that have a longer useful life, to better align with the cost, to align with the useful life, as opposed to whoever happens to be living in the Woodlands now having to pay full freight for these large capital items that have a longer useful life. If you have less than all the boards approve that, then the other districts would have to resolve that with the River Authority as to how they would fund their piece of that. So I think that's when things start to get just like a lot more difficult. So the goal would be to have a solution that all the districts could agree upon, a majority of each of those boards, and be able to move forward with. I think your point about the concern about the acceptance of those results is certainly understood. I think Eric mentioned there may be an item on next month's trustee agenda to talk about that item some more. I don't think there's been, that was the first time it had been brought up at the trustee level, so couldn't really say where that goes, but the goal is to have an objective and transparent process, both on the study and a decision criteria matrix that all the districts could agree upon, so that we felt like the boards felt like there was a roadmap for how that decision would be made. It would be transparent. It's a lot of money. Everybody is certainly want to do their due diligence to make sure that the decision that's made is the right one. It's a lot of taxpayer money.
Going into executive session, so any just items for the next month's meeting?
I will actually not be here.
Okay. Right, meeting adjourned.